Joining me now is Congressman Marc Veasey, Democrat from Texas, who represents areas of Dallas and Fort Worth. He's a named plaintiff in a federal lawsuit challenging Texas's new voter ID law. And Congressman, my first question to you is, given the fact that there's a lot of Texas pride and Texans don't like being told what to do by the federal government, does today's actions by the Department of Justice put you in an awkward position politically in your home state and home district?
No, it does not put me in a politically awkward situation. And as a matter of fact, I applaud the Attorney General for what he's doing. Chris, you may remember a couple of weeks ago that I actually filed suit in Corpus Christi to stop the voter ID law from being implemented. And I'm also a plaintiff on the redistricting case as well. And discrimination anywhere is bad, especially in Texas. And everyone should come together, regardless of what party that they're in, to make sure that all voters are treated equally and treated with respect. So I actually applaud the Attorney General and thank him for his actions today.
Do you think Texas has a history of racially discriminatory laws, not just in their impact, but the standard that has to be met here is in their intent, that essentially what you are saying, if you are adhering to this theory, is that the members of the Texas state legislature, in doing redistricting, in passing laws for voter ID, intend to racially discriminate?
Chris, not only does Texas have a history of discrimination, it's a recent history. When you look at the recent findings by courts in regards to the voter ID law that the Republicans tried to pass that would have disenfranchised thousands of Latino and African-American voters, when you look at redistricting, when you look at the Republican Party's embrace of groups like the King Street Patriots that seek to disenfranchise minority voters and Latino, both Latino and African American, it's clear that not only does Texas have a history of discrimination, but Texas has a very recent history of discrimination that is bad, and it needs to be stopped. And that's why I applaud the Attorney General for what he did today. If any state needs to opt in to Section 5, it needs to be Texas.
Texas Republicans have been remarkably brazen about all of this and have seemed remarkably uncowed by any of the federal government's actions to block them in the past. Is this going to be any different, or is this something that Rick Perry and the other Republicans of Texas can kind of gloat over, that they're taking on the hated Obama administration and standing up for Texas?
Sadly, they probably will gloat. Again, discrimination is something that we should all band together to fight. Why they would want to gloat against discriminating against the fastest growing ethnic groups in the state. And when you look at the state of Texas, Chris, for instance, between 2000 and 2010, Texas was the fastest growing state of any other place in the union. 90% of that growth between 2000 and 2010 was Latino and African American. Why the Republicans would want to discriminate against Latino and African American voters instead of trying to do outreach continues to puzzle many. And I think that it's a bad thing. We all need to band together to stop these sort of actions. And we need to be doing everything we can to get everyone to vote. Trying to limit the right of individuals to vote and to exercise their suffrage is a bad thing, and it's not the friendly Texas thing to do.
Oh, that's very sporting. I have a theory or two about why Republicans might want to restrict the franchise for some of the people you named. Congressman Marc Veasey of Texas, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.